What do I think about Edmonton? Well, in this video, I'm going to talk about all the good and the bad about Edmonton. So stay tuned. What's up, everyone? This is Eric Yip. I'm a local real estate agent in Edmonton, and I make a lot of videos about Edmonton, everything about eating, sleeping, drinking, playing, working, everything and anything. So if you like this video, please make sure you smash that like button because it really helps me out. And please subscribe. This way, when I make future videos, you won't miss out. So before you consider moving to Edmonton, you want to know all the pros and cons of Edmonton. Well, let me tell you about it. So let's look at the pros. First thing is, oh yes, we pay less taxes. So yes, we only have to pay GST. There is no PST or HST. So what that means is you're going to save a ton of money. Imagine you're buying that new Lamborghini or Corvette or race car, or maybe you want to buy that Audi where it's very expensive, and instead of paying, I don't know, 12 or 13% potentially, you're only going to pay 5%. So that's going to save you a ton of money. Of course, your day-to-day groceries to entertaining, to shave off that little bit every day really adds up. So yes, that's a huge, huge pro in my opinion. Second of all, what's another thing good about Edmonton? Yes, people here are super friendly and super helpful. Let me tell you a story. Last year, I had a friend who told me the story how he was approached by another friend of his, and he gave him $2,400. He said, look, there's 3 families, one family, one of the spouse is terminally ill and may only have 3, maybe 2 months left to live. And he wanted to make sure that the money got to that family. He wanted them to put $700 to $800 in the envelope and hand it to that family. This way, they could make sure their bills are continually being paid. They could put a little food on the table. And because it was close to Christmas time, they wanted to make sure that all the kids got some toys. I actually got inspired by that, and I actually reached out to all my sphere, and I asked them if any families needed help with anything. I would definitely help them with whatever I could at the time. And there were some families where I put together a box of goodies where I had some food, some toys, and some gift cards. And yeah, just in general, Edmontonians are very, very giving. And I absolutely love that about Edmonton. Another thing great about Edmonton is there's so much to do, guys. We have a lot of sports. There's a lot of entertaining. So in summertime, if you love different festivals, you want to go to there's a food festival. It's called the Taste of Edmonton, where all the restaurants gather in downtown, and people can go there and taste different types of food during the same time. They might have a beer tent or a wine tent. You can go taste all the beverages. Personally, I don't drink, but it is very, very cool that they have the option for all the people that love drinking. And yeah, I just absolutely love that about it. Also, we have the Fringe Festival, where all the people that love plays come here to Edmonton, and you can enjoy live plays. We have the Folk Festival. There's different music festivals. There is Heritage Days, where all the different cultures come together. They congregate at Sherwood Park, and they have dancing, they have different shows, they have singing, they have lots of food again, and it is just so amazing. And of course, if you love hiking, you love doing sports, there's a lot of sports to do, guys. Summertime, I actually do like playing tennis myself. So if you love playing tennis, reach out to me. Love to have a game with you. There are multiple tennis courts. They are free. You just got to make sure that there aren't people, and usually if there are, you just got to wait your turn. They have basketball courts. There's skating parks. Oh, I remember when I was a kid, loved skateboarding. Wasn't very good at it. I did learn how to ollie, and that's when you're trying to jump on the board and land on it. I've fallen many times and hurt myself, but it was so much fun. I had a skateboard. I think it was named after a very well-known skateboarder called Lance Mountain. It was I remember it was a blue skateboard, and I think it was called was it a street board? I don't remember. Nevertheless, let's move on. So aside from sports, there's soccer, there are people play cricket, and if you're into football, there's also football and rugby. There's a lot of different trails and parks where people can go and walk their dog. They can go biking. There's just so much to do. Oh, even beach volleyball. So even though it's not close to the beach, we do have places where they have sand pits and they make them really nice. And during summertime when it's plus 25, plus 27, hang out with your buddies, play a little beach volleyball, have that ice cold lemonade. Just so great, guys. Another great thing about Edmonton is there are new construction being built every year, whether it's commercial or residential, and people are continually moving to Edmonton. So what that means is people aren't moving away. It's becoming a dead city. It's actually a very live city where people actually want to come here. They come here for work. They want to make sure that their families are living in a better environment. And to me, Edmonton is actually well adapted for that. A lot of people come here because of that reason. So now for the bad. Yes, there is bad here in Edmonton. So the number one thing that comes to my mind is the winter is just so darn long. I can't stand it. But as long as it's sunny, I can bear with it. The times when it is snowing, there isn't much sun, it can get depressing. And when it does snow here, oh boy, does it ever snow. You know what? I'm not a big fan of shoveling. And every time it snows, it's you go out in the morning, a couple hours later, if it continually snows, you gotta re-shovel again. And you know what the worst is? When they have that wet, heavy snow. It feels like a gazillion pounds every time I'm shoveling, and really don't enjoy that. The other thing is our winters, when it does get cold, especially with the wind chill, oh man, it is so cold. You gotta wear so much, and every time you go out, it's terrible. And then here's what's worse. When you come home and you're parking in the garage, by the next morning, all the snow's melted, and it's dirty, it's slushy, it's wet in the garage, and you gotta shovel and sweep all the water out of the garage. And then of course, you gotta remember that ice forms, it's slippery outside, you gotta apply that salt, you gotta apply that sand. Not a big fan of that. Another thing is the walkability, or the lack thereof, compared to some of the other cities where you can get from one place to another. In Edmonton, really, you need to have a vehicle. Even if you have a bus, a lot of times you gotta wait for the bus, and there are some places where the buses just can't get to. So in terms of walkability, it's just not that great here. The crime rate. Sadly, it has gone up over the years. It is not the worst, but there still is crime. Whether it be people trying to break into vehicles, and there are some neighborhoods where there are some people, it's just a little bit more prone to people going there, usually during the middle of the night, maybe 3 or 4 a.m. They have a bicycle, or maybe they drive around, and they physically scout out a neighborhood or a street, and they try to see if there's any vehicles that are left unlocked. And if they do, they're going to try and snag something. I remember years ago, I was doing a little bit of renovation in my garage, and this was during the daytime. I left my truck out, and I remember having the vehicle locked, but I left the back door unlocked, and guess what? Someone went in there real quick, stole my iPod, and I was so angry. And it was a matter of within, I'm going to say 1 or 2 minutes by the time I opened the garage door, because I had left the garage door closed at the time, and by the time I opened it, it was too late. So not too impressed with that. The other thing is, yes, it has gone a little bit more violent. Actually, not a little bit. I'm going to say a lot more. There's been gun violence also, and luckily I've never had to witness anything like that, but that still sucks. One more thing about Edmonton is we have some bad drivers in Edmonton, along with potholes, mind you. And because of that, we have a lot of photo radars and speed traps where you have unmarked vehicles and they try and tag you, and basically you're going to get that fine plus demerits. And then plus with bad drivers, oh, it's terrible, guys. There's some people where they drive way too fast and they don't know how to slow down. And then you also get people that are on the opposite end of the spectrum where they drive way too slow. They're not following the traffic, and that in itself is dangerous too. Then you have some people just don't pay attention. They want to turn right out onto a road, onto moving traffic, and a lot of times when they're coming out right in front of you, and even if you're only driving 50 kilometers an hour, you got to jam on the brake, and that can cause accidents too. So there you go, guys. There's all the good and bad of Edmonton, and whether you want to come here, I'll leave that up to you. Anyways, guys, if you are thinking of moving to Edmonton, make sure you text me or phone me. Super pumped to meeting you, and love to have a game of tennis maybe even. Anyways, guys, have an awesome day. Until next time.